Well, welcome back, everybody. This is Troy Fullwood with Pinnacle Investments and the Note Wholesaling Blueprint Workshop. And wanted to first and foremost thank everybody for spending their day with me here in the business. Hopefully by this point in time, you guys have got a few nuggets, but I've got more to share with you in this last session in regards to how to set up your business, or how I do our business in regards to a much more autopiloted fashion. And the first thing I want to share with you, and right out of the gate, let's go ahead and jump over to a new screen share. Hold on here. So this is one of the websites that we use to do note capturing. And we do some marketing behind this. We do some SEO. We do some social media posting and in both LinkedIn, Facebook, Pinterest, and a few others. And what this website is it's nothing more. I shouldn't say nothing. Its sole purpose is to identify and locate people around the country who are interested in selling their note. And it's not filled with articles or videos or any of those other things. It has a single purpose in lead capturing note sellers. And it does it on autopilot in the background of our business so that it's producing leads for us to follow up on. Okay, now these are typically notes that are either newly created. Sometimes we get SIMOs, but oftentimes we get seasoned notes as well. And like I said, we're going to take a look at every single note deal that comes across our desk, whether it's a seasoned note deal. And I talked about some of the pros and cons of that throughout the day. I personally prefer newly created note deals because then I can create them to a standard that fits into our buying matrix without having to implement large discounts. And that's why I like the newly created ones, or simultaneous closings, as they're also known as. But there's only so much of that it's a big market. There's constantly new things being created, and I can only speak to so many people about that every single day. So we have that system that runs in the background where we're reaching out to those newly created notes, and that's fine. But this is for people that already have notes, and maybe they created one or two. Maybe they're not currently marketing to sell any properties. Maybe they were landlords and they just sold the houses to the tenants, and so they created the notes and they've collected on them for a couple of months. The average timeline that a note holder holds onto their note privately, I'm talking secondary marketplace, not the institutional stuff, but just the private, the average length of time is between 9 and 11 months. Okay, 9 and 11 months. And why is that? Well, let's be real honest with you. It's when people are creating notes, they're creating them as a have to, not necessarily as a want to. Okay, what they wanted was cold hard cash for their property. What they got was a buyer that didn't have that ability, but was still interested in buying the house, so they seller financed the house to them, and now they've locked up that cash and capital. So oftentimes when I talk to somebody who's newly creating notes or creating new notes, sometimes I say, you know what, I'm just going to hold on to it for a while, and maybe I'm going to keep it, for a year or two, and then I'll sell it. I put them in my tickler file to follow up with them in, right around 7 months, and let them know that I'm still here. Hey, just want to follow up with you. And I do it in the form of an email. And if I've got time, I'll do it in the form of a phone call. But emails usually work best because it's something that can be sent to them, and it can sit on their or in their inbox until they have a chance to ultimately respond. Now, if they don't respond right away, which oftentimes people don't, then I'll pick up the phone and I'll reach out to them with a phone call as well. Here's my point in that. I share that with you to share this with you, and that is we've created a website that ultimately is for season note holders, and we do a lot of search engine optimization and Google AdWords and keywords and things like that to make sure that we're out there on the leading edges, on the cutting edges of the marketing business world, so that we're at least getting opportunities to price notes and quote notes out to sellers. Pretty cool, huh? So in this particular one, you'll see it's just, it's a very, I've got even a quote here: private mortgage notes can be sold and thus converted into cash. The amount they sell for is based on the principal balance and the number of payments that have been made, referenced to as seasoning, number of remaining payments, the home or other assets, appraised value, and borrower's credit worthiness. That was a quote from the Washington Post. And this is the, this is the first page of it. Okay, so we've got our phone number up here. If they want to pick up the phone and call us, they can do that. If they want to just take a moment and put in their information, the first thing that we do, and I'll go ahead and do an example. So let's say I've got a note and it's 332 by 00010, and of course my name is Troy, and my last name is Fullwood, and you notice that as I go through this, one of the first things I'm going to capture with this particular seller, and the reason we do this and the reason that this has been tested and it works, is because when I go in here and I capture, one, the note balance, two, their name, and you can see that technically speaking, if you look really, really, really close, you'll see that there's only two real things that I need from this person: the note balance and the email. So this page right out of the gate is very user-friendly. This page right out of the gate is like, wow, all I have to do is give this. Hold on, follow track with me here. So I put my office number here, and then I go back here and I put my email. Troy, and we'll just use the Campanelli Group email. And so as a note seller, I'm looking at this going, okay, great, I've got my note balance, a name, phone number. Okay, phone number is optional, okay, but email is required, and it's got a little asterisk above that, and note balance has got an asterisk above it. And then I go, get an offer on my note. Click on this. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Boom. Now all of a sudden it brings me to page 2. And by the way, I get this cool little notice. Let's see this on my phone. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. So right here, if you can see this, I'll try and get it. See, I just got a little notice on my phone. And it pops up. It's like, sweet, now I got a lead. And I can be out of the office. I can be at the gym. I could be out to dinner. It could happen 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And all of a sudden I get this little notice going, wow, okay, awesome. So now I can return that call, or I can respond to that email from the comfort of my cell phone, or I can wait till I get back to the office and look at the entire note, because it takes it to what I call page 2, step 2 of 2. Help us with a few more bits of information. Excellent. Now a few more questions to help us learn more about your note. So now I'm looking at some basic details. And you can see it gets much more descriptive, and there's a lot more information to put in here in order to get a full quote or to get a quote on the note as a whole. You see, it doesn't self-populate or anything of that nature. It does a little bit down here. You'll see where it's self-populated my name and email, phone number. That's time to call. They can change that. Do you need to sell your note fast? Yes or no. Why do I want to know that? Well, simply, I want to know if they're motivated to sell. Is there an urgency going on here? Or is this just, are they just coming around kicking the tire? And if they're coming around kicking the tire, that's okay too. I just know that I'm not going to stop what I'm doing to pick up the phone and reach out to somebody that's not necessarily ready to sell today. And so I'm already kind of pre-qualifying, or I am pre-qualifying the seller on this particular deal. I go in here and say, how much do you expect to receive for your note? And I want to get an idea of what this particular person's looking for, and I've actually given them some options. Less than 15%, 15 to 29, 30 to 49, 50 to 60, 61 to 80, 81 to 95, 96 to 100%. Okay? And based on what they tell me here, will also give me insight as to what the strike price is going to be for that particular seller. That way, I know, once again, if they're one of those sellers that wants par pricing and there's no money to be made or earned on that deal, then I'm not going to spend any time with that person because their expectations are outside of what I can accomplish for them. I may acknowledge them. I'll return the phone call. I'll respond in an email fashion and say, hey, based on the fact that you're looking for par pricing on your note, I don't think there's anything I can do for you here. It's outside of our strike zone on a deal of this nature. Thank you very much for thinking about us, and please keep us in mind in the future going forward. Very simple, very easy for them to understand, and very easy for us to explain to them. But going back up here to the top, you can see where we start looking at the sales price of the property, the date of the sale, down payment amount, original principal amount, note balance, monthly payment, interest rate, original term in months, number of payments remaining, first payment due date, next payment due. Is there a balloon? Okay, balloon date. Is this a performing note? See, because this works for non-performing notes as well. What type of security on the note? Is it a single family? And this pulls up first lien, second lien, multifamily, commercial, bare land, personal guarantee, no assets, note is unsecured. Then we've got over here property types. We've got tenant occupied, vacant. Okay, so people will send us non-performing notes and it's vacant, and they'll be able to tell us that. Is the note performing? Current, behind 15 days, 30 days, 60 days, too soon to know. The note is brand new, which means that that's more along the lines of a simultaneous closing. So this gives somebody plenty of options to educate me about what it is that they're selling so that I can make an educated decision. Borrower's credit. As you can see, we put credit percentages, or not percentages, but credit numbers on this. Oftentimes people will send me notes and they'll say, well, the credit is good, or the credit is fair, or the credit is excellent. And my question to those types of statements are, okay, what does excellent credit look like? What does good credit look like? What does fair credit look like? Because everybody has their own interpretation of that. So rather than going good, bad, fair, excellent type thing, now we have them dial it into, okay, unknown, fair enough, below 550, 551 to 600, 601 to 640, 641 to 700, 701 to 740, above 740. So now they're giving us a numeric number that coincides with the credit reporting agencies. So now we can translate that and bridge the gap between one, what they're telling us, and two, what's standard protocol in the credit reporting world, and have an idea of what it is that we're walking into or the possibility of what we're walking into. Street address, the property that the mortgage is noted secure, and street address as well, if there's a different mailing address, and then your info once again. As you can see, there's not a ton of stuff here. In general, it's all important stuff that we need to know about the deal, okay? This is all very coincides with any mortgage worksheet or anything of that nature. So this is all stuff that should be readily available to them as well, so that they can easily provide that to you, me, or anybody else. This goes into in their information. So we take this site like this, and what we do is we shift to monitoring how well is this site working. And what I do and what I use for that is, hold on here. Let's see here. One second. So this is a tracking system that we use internally for the economics of deal flow and monitoring our business to determine if we're actually moving in the direction of the goals that we've set for our business. And you can see here for the month of January, we've had 21 leads come in. And let me go here. I'll highlight some. Hold on here. So we've had 21 leads that have come in for the month of January. And these are just single family owner occupied performing note leads. Okay, that's what's come in. These are not portfolios or anything of that nature. These are just leads that come off the lead site there, and what we do with Craigslist and a few other areas. So the leads, we got 21 leads that have come in. We've had 16 offers that we have put out. We've had 11 of them that have gone to, that are in due diligence or headed towards escrow. They're in that phase of due diligence. Some people were waiting for files to still come in. Some people giving us files. Some were almost through with the files. So it's kind of all over the place. And then we get into the number of closings. So we've got leads turn to offers go to escrow, escrows go to closing, and then the revenue side of it. Because there's only been one closing this month so far, we've got $6,241 in revenue on that particular closing. Now, and this is just in the wholesale side of our business. So when we break this down, you can see over here on our performance charts that everything is color coded. So we've got leads that are blue, offers that are red, escrows that are yellow, and then closings that are green. And you can see right now it's in a downward trend. It looks like a terrible day of the stock market is what it looks like. But that's okay, because what we're looking for is we're watching these numbers over here, and then we're over here watching these numbers. So this part of it's kind of the pretty part. And by the time you get down to December, it's got a whole, ebbs and flow to it that's really pretty neat. But what we're looking for over here is leads. So leads to offer are 76% for this month. Offers to escrow are at 69%, and escrows to closing are at 9%. So if we go back here and we say, okay, out of the 11 deals that are in escrow, if we close all 11 of them this month, how is that going to impact it? Well, it's going to improve our escrows to 100%. But more importantly, let's just say we close 9 out of them. Well, then we'll be at 82%. Now, 9 times $6,241, that's not necessarily the average. That's just what the one was. So every time we close a deal, that's going to fluctuate. But let's just use 9 and let's just downplay it to $5,000 per deal, which is way low in our space. But for sake of math, 5 times 9 is $45,000. So we would see, here we would see approximately $49,000 or $45,000 worth of revenue on 9 closings. So let's go ahead and type that in there. It's just a rounded up number. And then you get down here, and this is where it gets super, super exciting. Okay? And this is why I was saying in the last session about identifying sellers that are not reasonable or we can't do anything with. Okay, there's nothing wrong with what they're asking for, but we just can't satisfy it. That's not in our wheelhouse. We're not going to accomplish that. We're not going to accomplish it today, tomorrow, or ever. So thank you very much, Mr. Seller, but I've got to go spend my time on deals that I know that I can ultimately close. So with this, backing this out or backing this through, if I go in here and I got leads to offer, so I had 76% leads to offer. I had offers to escrow, 69%. Out of the escrows, I had 82% of them closed. We used the figure of $5,000 as 5,000 times 9. That brought up $45,000 in revenue. Now, what does that mean to you and me? And actually, this should be $5,000 here. What does that mean to you and me or anybody else? Well, here's what it means. Even though we're looking at this and we're seeing, hey, Troy, you had 21 leads, but you only had 16 offers that you put out. Okay, I put out 16 offers. You're right. I only put out 16 offers because after talking with 21 people, I found out that their expectations were inconsistent to my goals and my directions. I wasn't able to help them. And so rather than trying to force square pegs into round holes, let's just save them a bunch of time. Let's save me a bunch of time, and we'll move on to somebody that we can help. With that, out of the offers that I put out, the 16 offers that I put out, I had 11 of them that were accepted. So I'm not getting 100% out of every single deal that I do or every single offer that I do. Now, some of the offers that I put out, they may come back in February. That happens a lot. Where people are like, well, let me think about it for a while. And basically what they're saying is, hey, let me go shop this on you. And that's okay. Doesn't bother me that they go and shop it. Everybody's entitled to that. I'm looking at working with people to get things done. Okay. Do I hate the fact that they're going to go shop it and I may lose business? Yeah, I don't like that side of the equation, but I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to look at the blessings that I have. And in this case, I ended up with 11 that said, yeah, let's do this. And if we close 9 out of the 11, because there may be things that come up in due diligence that are either 1, going to kill the deal, or 2, we're going to have to put some extra work into it, and that deal will ultimately close in February. And that's okay. That there's nothing wrong with that. We still sometimes we run across things where we get through the due diligence and we're like, okay, you got the original note, and they're like, well, no, the original note's in South Carolina and I'm in Michigan. Okay, well, you got to get that note from South Carolina. Well, that means I got to fly there and get it, or I got to do this. You'd be surprised what people, what happens. Sometimes I'm never quite sure why that stuff does happen, but because you're dealing with personal seller finance transactions or seller finance transactions, oftentimes people. Let me rephrase that. Sometimes people are not as well organized as they would hope to be, as I would hope them to be. And so there might be delays. There might be a title issue that has to be addressed. There might be a servicing issue, meaning that, hey, they can get me copies of 3 months worth of payments or 6 months worth of payments, and then they've got to figure out how to get the rest of them to me. Maybe they got to go back to an old bank account or an old savings account and dig those things up, or they got to go to storage and get things out of file boxes. All of those things are very much a part of our industry and are things that we just have to contend with in the space. But is it worth working with those people? I would say yes. Paying $45,000 a month, and we rounded this down. Remember, we rounded it down to $5,000 a deal for today's example. It'll be more than that in the end, but rounding it down to 45. Is it worth $45,000 a month pay to do those things? Well, most people, I would say, yeah, it is worth that. No, most people aren't making that at their current job or their current profession or even in their current business. And by sometimes putting extra effort into it, which is sometimes has to happen, because a lot of times these note sellers are not necessarily, like I said, organized to the highest degree or to the ideal standard of being organized. Sometimes we have to go the extra mile to get that over the finish line. But here's the exciting part about this. When we come down here, we've got an average deal size of $5,000. The value per offer, okay, even though I didn't get all of my offers accepted, it was still worth $2,813 per offer. So I've done this enough times over the years that I know, even though I'm not going to get 100% acceptance on all the offers that I put out there, I'm going to keep putting out offers, because the more offers I put out there, the bigger my payday is at the end of the month. And in this particular case, in the month of January, it's averaging $2,813. That's awesome. Those are great numbers. Value per lead. Well, the leads are a little bit less. They're valued at $2,143. We had 21 leads, turn into 16 offers, turn into 11 deals. Now, if you think about it, some people may like, well, wait a minute, you had 21 leads, but you only had 11 accepted deals. That means, you only got 50%. Well, technically speaking, I guess you could look at it from that perspective. But I'm looking at it from the perspective of what keeps me motivated is to put out offers against the leads, to follow up on the leads, to put out the offers, which then creates the escrows or the acceptance, and then get to the closing side of it. Now, sometimes like I said, sometimes closings don't happen because they've got to get more paperwork, or maybe there's a title issue, and that's going to take a little while to address. So those, even though we have 11 in due diligence, that may ultimately overflow into February or maybe even March. But this is just month number one. This is just January. We're looking at duplicating this again in February and in March and in April and in May and in June, and continuing to do that month in and month out. Now, why is this important? Because oftentimes we'll look at something and say, okay, I'll get to it tomorrow, or I'll get to it down the road. And I'm guilty of that. So I'm only going to speak for myself. And I've done that in the past and said, I'll get to it tomorrow, or I'll get to it down the road. And I wake up and I'm like, wait a minute, we don't have any leads. Wait a minute, we don't have any offers going right now. So I need to get in gear and make that happen so that I can hit my target marks throughout the course of the year. Now, mind you, in our industry, in our business, June, July, and August tend to be slower months, although last year was not that. But June, July, and August tend to be slower months. Why? Because people are on vacation. Okay? People are on vacation. So they're not necessarily thinking about selling their notes. And that's okay. Here's how we do our marketing. We do our marketing when we're looking to create things in January. We're doing our marketing centered around paying off bills from Christmas bills. We're also in February, March, and January as well. January, February, March. We're touching on the idea of taxes. People needing to pay their taxes. Sell your note to pay your taxes. Then in March, April, and even into May, we're talking about planning for summer vacations. Now, mind you, all of these things are in emails that we use, but the point being is that we're always thinking ahead. These are things that are consistent in everybody's life. Consistently happening in everybody's life. Every year, April 15th, everybody's got to have their taxes in. Every summer that comes along, kids are out of school, family vacation, family travel. Every year, Christmas happens at the same time. Every year, January 1st comes along the same time. So we can play to, in our marketing efforts, we can play to those calendar events or those historic events that happen month in and month out. So January, February, March, we're playing towards paying taxes. February, March, April, we're marketing with the idea of summer vacations along with paying taxes. May, June, July, we're marketing for the start of school. Selling notes off so that they can pay for college education. Okay, that's a lot of what we do. Then we get into August, September, October. We start talking about the end of the year, money for Christmas, okay, money for the holidays, family vacations, Christmas vacations, things of that nature. So we start marketing from that perspective. Now, people often say, I hate when the store is talking about, they got Christmas decorations up in October and we haven't even gotten through Halloween yet. I get that. I'm not a big fan of that either. But it works. It works for the stores, and it works for us when we're working the emails and we're working the system of sending things out to people so that it outlines exactly what's coming. It's a gentle reminder. Hey, man, Christmas is coming up. You want to sell your note to create more or to have more money for Christmas? Oh, by the way, taxes are coming up. Do you need to sell your note to pay for taxes? Oh, by the way, we got Christmas vacation around the corner. Or not Christmas vacation, we got summer vacation around the corner. Do you want to sell your note for summer vacation? And then always, start a college back up. College starts pretty much the same time every year nationwide, around August. And so, parents need that money for the kids to go to school in August. So those are some insights as to how we tie into and how we change up our marketing message so that we can speak to different life events that are going on for a note holder. Now, mind you, when I said the average length of time that a person carries a note is a little bit over 9 months. Well, when you're speaking to that, in 9 months is less than this calendar right here. This is a 12-month calendar. So ultimately, you've got the opportunity to find a deal or to create deals or to create leads on people that are creating deals in January that are going to be selling them come September, August, July timeframe, because they've got to send their kids back to school, or they're going to sell them because, you know, here comes Christmas, or they're going to sell them because they've got opportunities to buy more houses later on in the year. And they sell them because ultimately it comes down to a choice. Do you want to keep collecting a $500 a month payment, or would you like to have a $40,000 lump sum payment at the end of the day? Well, most people are going to look at the $500 and go, hey, this is great, but I can do a lot more with $40,000 than I can with $500. And so that opens the opportunity to give them a price on their note and their deal so that you can make a profit. And ultimately they accomplish their goal as well, because they get out from underneath that they get out from underneath that $500 a month cash flow. This ties back into the first session that we did about, you know, I don't have an issue with cash flow. I don't. But keep in mind, in order for cash flow to be effective, okay, in order for it to be truly effective, it has to accomplish some goal with the person who receives it. Meaning that if I'm receiving a cash flow from a single note, or maybe a couple of notes, and I'm getting, say, $500 a month, but I've got to pay a private money lender, you know, 350 of it, and my cut is 150 of the deal, and I can trade that $150 cut for, say, a $12,000 lump sum payday today, that's a no-brainer. And that lump sum payday, $12,000, will be after I paid off my private money lender. That's the power of wholesaling notes. That's the power of being able to explain these different scenarios to note sellers. That's the power of the opportunity that exists in a $1.7 trillion business. Those are the types of opportunities that exist in front of you and in front of me every single day. Because I can share with you that 90% of the deals that we do have some kind of underlying lien in them. So even if they're getting $500 a month, they still have to pay somebody something out of it. And it's typically, like I said, about 70%, 70+% of the monies that are received or the revenues that are received. So they're just getting a fraction of the deal. Now, let me ask any of you, if you were getting $150 a month off of a note deal, outside of the fact of it just being a really cool model, would $150 a month pay for very many things around your office or your household? And most people would say no. It's not even well, I can tell you this much, it's not even a grocery bill around my house with 4 boys. It doesn't even cover gas in our cars for a month. It doesn't cover, you know, the light bill or the water bill. Well, it does cover the water bill. Our water bill is pretty cheap here in Arizona. But it doesn't cover a car payment. It doesn't cover a mortgage payment. It doesn't cover health insurance, things like that. And that's what really motivates people. So you have to take a lot of those and bring them together to create any kind of substantial cash flow at the end of the day. hence why people sell notes. Now, sometimes they've got notes and there's no underlying lien and the cash flow is $500 a month, and that's great. Nothing wrong with that. But then the question comes back, do you want $500 a month, or would you like to have $40,000 cash? Would $40,000 lump sum of cash be more valuable to you than $500 a month? And most people, if they had $40,000 lump sum of cash, could put that to work in their investment business, or by lowering the interest that they're maybe paying on some credit cards. You know, most people's credit cards are around 15, 16%. Well, if you've got a note and that note's creating a 7% return for you, okay, well, you're only making 7% and you're over here paying 16, so you're negative, still negative on the deal, still negative 9%. You're not going to catch up by doing it this way. You'd be better off selling the note over here and paying off $40,000 worth of debt. That's just good business. That's just smart financial investing. That's just a smart financial model. So these are motivations. These are things that I talk to people about. This is how I get these types of leads to offer ratio. Okay, when you're talking 76%, and then 69%, then I get to 82% closing. Given that we closed 9, I can guarantee you we'll close 9, and these other 2, they'll close in February. That's typically what we see. We see about 10% of anything that we put under contract gets extended out. The average length of time to close a deal is 2 to 3 weeks in the business. So why is it 2 to 3 weeks? Well, because we have to wait on BPOs and title, things like that. But the promising part about it is that we're also looking at it from a standpoint of everybody has a common interest. Okay? The seller's motivated to sell. We're motivated to get it closed because we get paid. And the bank's motivated to buy because they get, now they've deployed their capital. So we've got sellers are motivated, we're motivated, the bank's motivated. So you got 3 motivated parties to get the deal done. And that's a great recipe for success at the end of the day. Having that kind of effort put into it when you've got everybody working together, because everybody has a common goal. Everybody wants to succeed. The seller wants their money. I want the deal to close because I get compensated. The bank wants the deal to close because now they deploy capital at a higher rate of return other than lending it out at a 3 or 4% interest rate. Now all of a sudden they can get the same cost of capital and they can lend it out at, say, 8% and get an 8% yield or a 9% yield or a 10% yield, whatever the calculation is for that particular type of note deal. So we're going to wrap up today's call or today's series of webinars. Hopefully everybody's gotten a tremendous amount of value out of this event today. As you can see, we've covered a lot of things. I know that there have been some questions about some hands being raised and stuff, and I'm not taking any questions on this, but you're more than welcome to email us questions at support@pinnacle-investments.com, and we'll answer those questions for you, and you can just send them in and we'll get those answered for you ASAP. But support@pinnacle-investments.com is the best place to send any questions that you may have. So once again, I'm going to ask you guys, do you want some help in building your business and taking it to the next level? And if you are, I want to introduce you or share with you once again what I'm calling and referencing Troy Fullwood's Inner Circle Family. And why am I calling it an Inner Circle Family? Well, simple. families always got each other's back. Families always working together to create success. Families always supporting each other. And I thought about calling it a mastermind. I thought about calling it a lot of other things. But at the end of the day, what I felt was something that was important to me and people that I've talked to is the word family, because family has a different connotation about the fact that families got each other's back. I know that my wife and I, we spend a lot of time with her family and my family, and we're constantly going and doing things. Case in point, my father-in-law came over and took the twins, and I think now they're at the car show. He took them to the car show, and they've been excited about that for 4 days, to go hang out with Grandpa and go to the car show and have some fun and ride their bikes. I think he was going to take them to breakfast and do all the guy things, and so they were really excited about that. But I've got a goal this year to help over 500 investors build $1 million business, and more importantly, I want you to become one of those investors. And there's no reason why all 500 people can't do $1 million in business in the inner circle. It's really not that difficult, considering the size of our industry being $1.7 trillion. There's plenty of opportunity to go around, and that's the exciting part. I priced it at a very, very affordable price of just at $13 a day. So less than the cost of a breakfast or a lunch or even a dinner. You can now get support, and you get my time, and you get my expertise to help you grow your business, to help you close deals. And that is going to be conducted in a fashion where we're going to be doing once a week. We're going to be doing live calls, and we're going to be tackling topic matters that are consistent to learning the business, but also marketing your business, branding your business, closing deals in your business. And we're also going to be taking Q&As during those calls so that we can find out if you've got something that maybe we didn't think about, but that you can certainly ask that question, and we'll address that question on the call so that you're not waiting an indefinite period of time. But more importantly, if you don't even want to wait to the call, you can shoot us an email and we will answer those questions, because we don't want people waiting around for answers, because the velocity of money moves really, really fast. And if you can approach it from that standpoint, your business from that standpoint, you will scale your business very, very quickly. We're also going to be doing monthly marketing videos that break down marketing techniques like the one I shared with you today. We'll go into a deeper dive into that marketing and the SEO and the things that we're doing and the people that we're working with to help achieve those types of goals, so that you can apply those things to your business as well. I'm going to be doing live recorded calls, and those are going to be with sellers that have notes for sale and that I'm working with, like those 21 people. We're going to be, I'm not saying we're going to do 21 calls, but those 21 people would have been a perfect example for creating those recordings and then posting them to the student site so that you can hear what it is I'm saying when I'm talking to sellers, as well as we're going to transcribe those calls so that you can ultimately study those if you're a better reader than you are a listener. I tend to be a better listener than I am a reader, so we're going to bridge both. We're going to accomplish both out of that. We've also built a private Facebook page where you can go on there and you can communicate with other members, and you can work with other members in helping them build their business, or each other's business. We're also building a membership site where we'll be putting tools and resources and things like that in there, so that you can you'll know that you can go there and get things for your business as you need things. So it's kind of like having your own little storehouse or your own little vault of information that you have personal access to for building your business. So if something comes up, you can go there, you can find it, and then you can use it in your business. The other thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be extending the offer for members that want and need my help when they've got a seller that maybe they just aren't sure what to say. Maybe the sellers ask them questions that they're not sure how to answer. And I recommend don't lie, don't make things up. Just say, hey, you know what? Let me get my investor on the phone. Let me get my trade desk on the phone, and the trade desk will answer those questions for you. And that way, we've got an honest answer, or we've got an accurate answer to their questions. And we're more than happy to do. I'm more than happy to do that, as well as I'm more than happy to get the deal closed for you, so that you can in turn, benefit financially from it. And I'm not even asking anything from that at all. So those are some of the benefits that people that are part of my inner circle family are going to receive from me. This is going to be a major focus for me in 2018, and it's going to be a major focus for several reasons. And I think I taught on some of those early on in today's earlier sessions, and I'm not going to necessarily go back to that, but this is what we think is going to be the greatest value opportunity for people in this industry. And it'll fast track people to creating success in their note business, starting by wholesaling notes and then growing into being an investor in both the performing and the NPL space. Because as I said in the first recording this morning, that to be an investor, to be a note investor, or to be a non-performing note investor requires cash and capital. You have to have both. And they're one and the same, but my point being is you've got to have a lot of it. And if you don't have that just yet, then start with wholesaling deals so that you can earn and learn along the way. More importantly, join the Inner Circle family so that we can support you and to make sure that you're headed in the right direction at all times, so that we can help you close deals, so we can help you and help educate and build upon your education so that you can have a high percentage of closing. So you do have a constant flow of leads into your business, so that you do have plenty of opportunities so that you can benefit from that. Leads are the lifeblood of any business. And you talk to any real estate investor, it doesn't matter if they're a note investor, if they're a brick and mortar investor, or even if they're a landlord investor. Leads are the lifeblood of every business. And that's going to be a core focus for us inside of the Inner Circle family. Okay. And that's, so I'll leave that with you. It's, we're talking a very minimum investment of $13 a day. You can sign up by going to jointroyfullwood.com and grab your spot. There have been several of them. There's another one that just came through. Let's see who we got here. Who just came through. We got William. Well, welcome to the team, William. We appreciate that. I should have been doing this all along, but I didn't, so apologize for that. But here's the beauty of it. This is a month-to-month membership, so you can cancel at any time. And I made it a month-to-month membership because I truly believe that you will stay around for a very long time if I keep delivering value to you. And I keep showing you and helping you grow your business. I know that you won't stick around unless you see that. Okay, that's a no-brainer. I know that. So I understand the rules of the game going in. And I'm here to buck the trend in our industry and get away from just the algorithms and the analytics of the industry, which is very popular in webinars and trainings and things like that. And there's nothing wrong with it because that is a part of the industry. But it also is not the only part of the industry. How do you take what you know about the calculations and the yield spreads and the returns and all that, and how do you monetize that? Well, you've got to create leads. You've got to have opportunities. You've got to have deals that come to you. You've got to have things that land on your plate. You've got to have sources that are bringing you deals on a regular basis so that you can monetize your time. And I know that you won't stay around unless there's value for you. And so every time we do a call, I'm going to be raising the bar, not only on myself, but on everybody else. We're here to buck the industry because I'm tired of going to events and seeing people who have never closed a deal before, who have been around for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, who think it's a really neat industry, it's a neat business, but they're not sure what direction to go in. And this is a byproduct of every educator out there. And I woke up around Christmas time and I looked at my wife and I said, we're not going to do this anymore. We're not going to keep just selling educational trainings. We have those. They've all been updated. They're all refreshed and everything. And they're out there and people can still certainly buy those. But our number one focus this year is inner circle efforts and working alongside people and helping them monetize the education that they've either gained from me or from somebody else, but they still have a passion for being in the note space and showing them, okay, what is it that you're missing? Because I could keep creating products, and I could keep doing all of those things, but that may not ever address what you need in order to start to grow your business or to scale your business. And I won't know what that is unless we're working together at the end of the day. So I'm like, well, why not work together? Hence, there's not really a lot of magic to that. It's just like, this just makes more sense is to do this versus that. So that's the kind of stuff that we're going to be focusing in on. That's the kind of stuff that we've got going on. We've got Jan Burnett. Welcome, Jan. Appreciate your support. Looking forward to working with you as well. I know we had several others sign up today. Like I said, I should have been doing this earlier, but I didn't. So I apologize for that. But that's the focus. That's the goal. I'm going to be doing some very basic things this year and focusing in on the process that, one, we're going to be focusing in on our inner circle family. Two, we're going to be focusing in on scaling our marketing. And as we scale our marketing, we're going to share those ideas with you and show you what's working and what's not working. In other words, we'll go test the model, we'll fine-tune the model, and then we'll bring back the fine-tuned model to you so that you're not wasting money on ideas that may or may not work. Now, some of you may have some great ideas that I just haven't thought of yet. And if that's the case, I'm excited to hear those ideas because I'll go test them. I'll go test them and see what we can do there. But the beauty of it is that working together is what creates better results for everybody. And as I said and mentioned to you, everybody, let me see. We got, well, John, welcome to the group. Thank you so much, John. Appreciate that. Sorry, my phone shut off there for a second. So that's what we're doing. And I can't explain it any other way. You've got 30, it's just billed every 30 days automatically. You can cancel at any time. If you don't think there's value, you're certainly free to cancel. You can just send an email to support@pinnacle-investments.com. That goes directly into Kim's email box, and she'll cancel your membership. And we won't take any more of your money. We won't take any more of your time either. But we don't think that that's going to happen. We don't think that that's going to be a very commonplace. And we understand that that may happen because of life events, and that's typically what happens. But when you're closing deals and we're showing you how to market your business and you're getting our one-on-one attention and you're getting our group attention and you're able to email me and you're able to get me on the phone to help you close deals and you get to keep 100% of the profits. With those types of resources and tools at your fingertips, I don't think anybody will cancel. Okay, it's going to have to be a life-changing event for something like that to happen. But we've made it very user-friendly. We've made it so that people can use it and benefit from it. And as their business grows, then there's other things that we can talk about down the road. But more importantly, rather than creating another class and a course, why don't we just create a life class, meaning inner circle family. Let's do life together. Let's do business together. Let's grow it unlike any other thing. And I know that this is 180 degrees different than anything else out there in the marketplace. And I love that about it. I absolutely love that about it. Because last year, I sat in a mastermind group with some of the biggest names in the guru business. Okay, and I'm not going to name names or anything, but their number one focus with their databases was, how can we get more money out of our database? And I was like, this sucks. This is by far the worst idea in the history of ideas. Because never once were they talking about how can we support them better? How can we level up our business? How can we increase our success ratio in our students? And some of them came up with big high dollar programs, high ticket items, and all that other stuff, which is very commonplace in it. And we have one of those as well, and it's called the Society, and it's really one-on-one attention, and it's a completely different model. But people that are in the Society have already achieved success in the business. So I'm looking at it going, wait a minute, we've got this extreme and we've got this extreme. That doesn't work. We have to have something in the middle that accomplishes and helps people accomplish the goals and moving in the direction that they want to go. And so how can we do this? I said, well, let's do a group. Let's do a group one. Hence, we birthed Troy Fullwood's Inner Circle Family. And so as a group, we can work together and we can accomplish more. Just like families, when they work together, they accomplish more as well. And we can close more deals, make more money. That's a good thing, okay? But that's what we're doing. I don't know how else to put it. I don't know how much easier I can make it. It's $13 a day. You can cancel at any time. I don't think you're going to, but you can if you want to. And that's pretty crazy awesome. So we're going to be doing our calls once a week, our live calls. We're also got the private Facebook page. We also got the membership site that it's being built right now. We're going to be adding all kinds of materials, resources, and stuff like that to it. And then we're going to be doing live marketing recordings, and I'm going to be sending that out to people and showing people how to tweak their marketing, which is going to increase their leads, which is going to increase their closings, which is going to increase their bottom line pay. Nobody ever talks about that in the note business because they're too busy doing the razzle-dazzle number part. And the number parts don't make money. They just don't, because you've got to have the marketing, you got to have the deals, you got to have the deal flow. So www.jointroyfullwood.com or www.jointroyfullwood.com, I should say, at jointroyfullwood.com, and come and join us. We're going to have a blast this year. 2018 is going to be an amazing year, and looking forward to helping 500 people achieve the $1 million milestone in their business and helping them accomplish the things they want to accomplish and help them be life transforming. So thank you so much for spending your day with me. I appreciate all of it. I hope that everybody's gotten a few golden nuggets out of all of this in your business, and you can go and start to apply it. Hopefully you've gotten value. That's our number one thing. And hope you guys have an amazing week. And hope you guys have an amazing weekend as well. With that being said, by the way, if you've got any questions, feel free to shoot them over to support@pinnacle-investments.com, and we'll answer those questions as they come in and shoot you a question back. So have a great day. Have an amazing week. Take care. God bless. Bye now.